Hey guys, my name is Pierre from Can Am Spyder Accessories.com and welcome to the Spyder Shop. Welcome to your Spyder Shop. In today's video, we're going to be doing the installation of a seat cover for the RT 2020 Can Am Spyder. It is a seat cover from the company Air-flow. You guys ready? I'm ready. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. That looked easy enough. Took me 8 times to get that right. 8 times to get it right. But I'm ready. I'm ready.
Where'd you go? What'd you do lately?
If you get the chance before you start doing your installation, take your product, take your seat covers, and I'd like you to put it in the sun for about 60 minutes. The sun is going to help you be able to stretch the material. It's like putting sheets on a bed, but it's going to be a little bit tight because the material is so new. And as you're stretching it, it's going to thin it out a little bit, making the application, the installation, a little bit easier. So that's my recommendation. 60 minutes in the sun. Let me start off with a couple of information for you. As we started looking into selling airflow products, one of the main concerns I had was the fit and the look of it once it was on the bike. But boy, I was really blown away by the quality of the materials, and then the look of it on the bike. It's got a dark, rich black to it, so that looks awesome. And check out how tight that fit is and how beautiful it looks. Go around to the other side again. It just looks awesome. You've even got right here, if you've got a backrest, whether it's a third-party backrest from our friends at Showchrome, or if you've got the original BRP backrest, it's already got an incision here to be able to accommodate for that. A couple of additional things that we like about these airflow seat covers is the thickness of the material. So the mesh here is doubled up, and it gives you 8 millimeters of cushion, or 5/16 of an inch or thereabouts. So what this does is that it brings comfort all the way around. It's not like having a cushion that's made of air, or others have got like a gel or foam or things like that, where it's like sitting like a cherry on top of a sundae kind of thing. You move around as you're riding your Can Am Spyder. Now this is a tight fit. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to slide from under you, and you've got the same cushion everywhere, whether it's in the curves, or it's for the backside, at the back, or way up front. And it's the same for your rider or your passenger. If you're riding in a place where it's really warm over the summer, well, you can imagine that, it's got the name Airflow, so the air is going to flow, between this mesh. So that's going to keep you dry, you're not going to get swamp butt, as we call it in the motorcycle world. So the airflow is definitely going to help you stay dry that way. Added bonus, with the cushion and the space that is provided, if you get caught in the rain, well, your butt is going to stay pretty much dry there, because the water is just going to go through the mesh onto your seat and then run off. To be able to do your installation, you're going to need a pair of cutters like this, a pair of scissors. You're going to need a couple of zip ties like this. We want the long ones, not that we need the length, but you want the width that comes with a longer tie wrap. It's going to be more secure, more strong. You're going to need a drill, and here I've got a 1/4 inch mesh drill bit. And if you got a thin pair of work gloves like this, that's going to help out as well. To be able to remove your passenger seat, if you've got a backrest, you're going to need to take that out. If it's not locked down from underneath the seat, you just pull on it. If your backrest was locked, first thing we're going to do is you're going to lift up your rider's seat so we can have access right underneath. I can't show you the metal clip, but I can show you where it's going to be. I don't have it because I don't have a BRP backrest which would lock it down. So it's going to be dead center in the middle of the camera of where you're looking at right now. And it looks a little bit like a coat hanger. Old school, the ones in metal there, you're going to put your hand on it and you're going to pull on it towards the front. There's a second part to being able to unlock your seat. It's kind of hard to get my camera and the light and the screwdriver in there, but here we go. So you see where that screwdriver is hitting there? See, it's there, but there's a plastic clip here. You need to press down on this, push it towards the back of the bike, and when you do that, you're going to lift up your seat as well on the side you're doing, because there are two clips, one here and one on the other side down there. So as you do this, you lift up the seat on the same side and your seat is going to come right up. Our Can Am Spyder is always in the showroom, and to be able to show the customers and for them to try it, it's already been installed on this Can Am Spyder. So I'm going to take 2 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and I'm going to start you from scratch. We're going to start off with the passenger seat, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drill some holes here to be able to give us some additional anchorage points. That's very important. If you don't do this and you try to do it otherwise, I guarantee you I've installed hundreds of these now, and it's going to give you more problems than you're needing. So you're going to take a drill, and I got a drill bit here. It's a 1/4 inch, and we're going to drill 2 holes. So looking at your seat this way, it's upside down. You got your 2 plastic clips here. Now this is the inside. These are the outside right here. And what we want to drill is we want to drill on the outside part. This is at the bottom of the part where my hole will come out this way. So it can either go from the inside to the outside, or I like to go from the outside towards the inside. My hole's already drilled, but let me show you where I go in. Just like that. Flip around, go to the other side. Again. All right, now we can take you can take your cover, and now you're going to have issues with these Velcros. They're always going to go back on top of each other, and that's going to give you issues as you're going to be pulling them out a little bit as you're maneuvering your cover. So let's start by putting it under like this. Make sure your Velcros are not stuck together. Go ahead and slip one in right here. The other one right there. And here's the important part, is that the reflex that you're going to have when you do this is you're seeing, or you're saying to yourself, I got some Velcro, let's make this nice and tight, and you're pulling everything in. Not what you need to do. If you do that, installation on the bike is going to be a nightmare for you. So you need to have the stitching of this here on the back barely, and I say barely, on the edge, just like that. If you do it more like that, if you're trying to pull this material in with the Velcro, you're going to have issues because you got 2 plastic forks right here, and when you're putting these back on the bike and they go inside the hole, if you've got material here, material is going to push back. It's going to be like a spring action, and that's going to be a nightmare when you're trying to put the passenger seat and the rider seat back together. There won't be enough space there, and this is the issue here. So you can start by putting a little bit of Velcros together now to hold it there in place. These ones here go like that. You've got right here another one. And don't go crazy, just bring it a little bit. Don't pull too hard on it. Now, you want these to be able to crisscross like that. So this one's going to come here, that one there. You got up front. Make it nice and loose for now. Don't try to make this tight. Leave it loose here, okay? Same thing for this one. Okay. Now we're going to do the 2 corners. Yours will be slightly longer than this, and that's where your scissors are going to come in to cut the excess that you don't need. So here's the way we're trying, this is the end result we're trying to get here. And to be able to do that, you're going to, the Velcro right here in the corner, right next to the stitching, and same thing here, this is where you need to put the two Velcros together. So I'm going to take the one that's here, now I'm going to pull it towards the back. And I'm going to take this one and pull it after towards the inside. So it's going to do like this. Pull this there, and then pull that in, and see here I've got my crisscross here, like that. And then after that, you can start by wrapping this around a little bit. You're getting a double Velcro here, and after that you can just cut the excess, and then the rest you just tuck it in like that. Okay? But when you tuck it in, don't tuck it in here. You need to have space and thin. You want to tuck it in, but have it at the top. Okay? Not on the inside tucked in, because you need all this to be as thin as possible. You want it here. Do the same on the other side. Pull that one towards the back, pull this one in, and this is where you're going crisscross. Wrap it over, you get the double Velcro going on, and again you push that towards the inside here. Okay? Now you're going to take the zip ties that I provide you with, and you're going to want to have the square of that zip tie on the outside. So you start by going through the hole, and now you're going to come through the material right at the top of the stitching. And when you bring it back, you're going over the stitching. Okay, so you're going through the material but over the stitching. So this is nice and strong here because of the stitching. Pull that in. Make sure your square is on the outside here. Cut the excess off. Go ahead and do the other side as well. Again, we want the square to be on the outside, so from this side you go into the hole, bringing it through the material, and then over the stitching. Bring that in. Again, you want to cut off the excess of that zip tie. Beautiful like that. It's nice and in. You're tight here, tight there. You've got some extra loose now. You can go ahead and take that away. But don't pull in that material. If you don't do the zip ties here, what you're doing is that you're going to bring this in, you're going to have to pull on the Velcro, and your material is going to come in here, and it's not supposed to. You don't want it because you're going to have issues when we go back on the bike. Okay, so you can just take away a little bit of the loose here. Not much more than that. This one moved a little bit, so go ahead and get that done. Here we go. For the rider's seat cover, we're going to be installing it directly on the Can Am Spyder. When doing the installation of the rider's cover, you're going to have a feeling of going back and forth between one side to the other. You're going to be fighting with it because you're going to have the Velcro sticking together when you don't want it to. You're going to have your face almost in the seat and your arms underneath. There's no other way. This is the way it gets done. We're going to start by putting the cover in the back, and then we're going to stretch it out towards the front. If it looks a little bit easier for me than it does for you right now, as you're going back and forth and try to get it done, there are two reasons for that. The first one is that my cover was already on the bike, so it's already stretched and taken shape a little bit. And I've got a couple hundreds installed, so I mean a little bit more experience than you. Make sure you get all the Velcros and they're accessible. So you got one right here for this part right down the middle. So you go one here, one here. Usually these will get tucked in there, so go ahead and pull it out so you have it right there, and do the same for this one here, and tuck it in underneath the seat so it's accessible for you. You've got one right here like that on both sides, so go ahead and get those out. There it is. And you've got one, well, you got two, one here. So for that angle right there, and same thing on this side. So I'll make those all available for you, just like that. The stitching that you have here at the back, you don't want to tuck it all the way in, because as you're tucking it all the way in, what you're doing is you're taking the stitching, which is the thicker part, and you're going to make it in a place where the two seats need to meet up. And if you have too much material here, it's going to be harder to work. So leave it again, like you did in the back, leave it a little bit up top, but not all the way at the bottom, but bring it up a little bit. So when everything is assembled, you'll barely see it. Now we're going to do the sides. We're working on this angle right here. We're going to do each corners right now. So the one that's up front, right up the top here, we'll call this the top. That needs to get pulled down. And then we're going to take the other one that's right here, and then we're going to join them together. Crisscross motion right here. Do the same, do it for this one and then that one. For this one here, since you have a lot of slack on it, you want to bring it in as tight as possible. So we're going to get you're going to get one end underneath, you're going to take it, you're going to pull towards there and then put the other one in. To be able to do that, you're going to do a sharp pull and then hold it there really hard until you can put the other one in, because you want to make sure that it comes in as much as possible. For the additional Velcro you have here, you don't need to cut it, you can just tuck it in underneath your seat. Now you're going to go back and forth from one side to the other and just bring in that stitching just underneath your seat to have a beautiful finish just like this. We're going to be doing installing the passenger seat right now, so don't forget to plug in the wire. These are the two plastic parts that need to go into those holes right there. So this is what you need to line up. And the two holes you're lining up are right here. This is the part where I'm going to put on my gloves. Once that you have those two ends, this is the hard part here. This is where your material is new. You're adding 5/16 of an inch twice of material, plus sometimes the stitching that's going to get in the way. So it's already a tight fit here. It's going to be even, tighter. To be able to fit this in, you're going to have to lift up your front seat a little bit, and then you have to tuck in the sides here by pushing hard. You're going to be working on this. You're going to be pushing and pulling hard. To do the finishing touch and make sure everything is well tucked in, my technique is to get on the Can Am Spyder. This way it's a lot easier to push down on these corners here, make sure everything is in place. And then once you pretty much everything is lined up, you sit on it. The mesh, it can get a little scruffy, so this is where I'm using gloves. And I just tuck it in, make it nice. You're going to come over to your rider's seat, don't sit down completely. And you're going to have to tuck in right here the material on each side of, this piece of plastic here. So you tuck it in. Once you got clearance, you sit on it, and everything is locked in. And at the back here, you can pull on this here, make sure that it's locked as well. It's locked. All that's left for you to do is walk around your Can Am Spyder from one side to the other. You tuck it in here, you tuck it in there, and you get the desired finish that you want. It will get a lot easier to maneuver. After a couple of rides, you'll find that the material will have thin out a little bit, not because it's flattened itself, but simply because of the sun outside, the heat, and you're sitting on it, you're moving around, so it's getting fitted to all the contours of your seat. For your gas tank, when you're lifting it up now, when you're turning the key down, you want to help it maybe at the start by pushing down and pulling on it. I'm talking about the seat itself to unclip it, but after a couple of you know, a couple of rides, that's going to go away. It's going to be nice and easy going in and out because, like I said, the material will thin out and just get all the contours of the bike. I hope you enjoyed this installation video. This time it was for an airflow seat covers because it's two-piece. This is an RT 2020 and up. If you need one of these seat covers, and I assure you, you do need one of these. Where can you go? You go on Can Am Spyder Accessories.com. That's Can Am Spyder Accessories.com. My name is Pierre. That's the Spyder Shop, and we are Can Am Spyder Accessories. Until next time, I'm out.